Hey everybody and welcome to Talk Chain. Today we're going to talk about the continued bloodbath that will not stop in the market. Red all over the place, driving me bananas, driving probably everybody bananas. We're also going to talk about why XRB isn't suffering as bad with the losses and, spoiler alert, it's due to being added to Binance. My name is Matt and I'm reunited again with Rob. Rob, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Matt. It's been a while.
I know. Finally, we get to complain about the markets together, and it's been sad. Your videos have been all right, though. I've been enjoying them.
I think they've been great, actually, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, definitely A-list quality. So, so the market. Where do we even start? Total market cap 426 billion. Bitcoin dominance about a third, as per usual, was fluctuating, going up a little higher than that, and it's at 35% now. And across the board, red.
Yeah,
No,
it seems to be kind of leveling off a bit. Bitcoin dropped down to 7,500 earlier today.
yeah, that was a little nerve-wracking, this candle. So I have the daily chart up for Bitcoin, and there was a lot of volume behind this move, but it went down to like 7,600 bucks, which we haven't seen since November of last year, which frankly, it's not really that long ago when you think about it.
No, just in crypto time, it's years
Yeah,
ago.
crypto time moves like crazy fast, and I guess it's good news because it means that this dip won't last forever.
Yeah, well, nothing lasts forever, so hopefully,
Well,
hopefully we can just diamonds. Actually, I think maybe we should all invest in diamonds.
yeah. So looking at the crypto chart, or not the crypto chart, the Bitcoin chart, I drew some resistance lines, and it's very bearish. So as much as I'd love to say that I think the trend's going to turn around, I think there's still some bearish sentiment. There's a lot of volume on today's dip, and I think it could continue. I've got 7,900 as a support, and we kind of broke through that. But if that doesn't hold, then this sort of bearish trend could continue.
Yeah, I called yesterday. I said that I thought we were pretty close to the end, and I think that $7,600 mark is about where it'll go.
Hmm.
Too many people are going to get in to stop it
Yeah. Have you checked that?
before it'll crash.
You had that the volume or the book orders. I don't know. I haven't checked the order books in a while. Is there still a big sell wall or buy wall?
Yeah, there's a pretty big buy wall, and it seems to be around the 75, $7,600 mark.
Hmm.
So it has moved back a bit. It has moved back a bit. I'll admit that, but there, I don't know. It's the buys outnumber the sells drastically.
Hmm.
So it's never gonna completely fall apart.
Yeah, I hope not. I mean, those buy walls and sell walls are not static. They can move as quickly as any whale wants them to. I've always sort of noticed that they move when sentiment changes. So if there's a lot of selling pressure, somebody could easily just move their giant buy order down to 6,000 if they want. So it is helpful though to see where people are willing to buy, at least in this moment in time.
Yeah, there's gonna be some whales, but there's probably a significant number of just everyday investors that just kind of have it always set to be bought at a certain number and just hope that it will one day reach that and they can get some cheap Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's true. So I'm waiting for a transfer for to Coinbase, and I plan on picking up a little bit of Bitcoin, a little bit of Ether. Notice that Ether seems to be less affected by this drop. It was holding strong for a while, and it's definitely tumbled more compared to Bitcoin in the last 24 hours. But overall, it seemed to have fared better in the last month or so. So 24 hours down 8% compared to Bitcoin. But if we look over the last month, Bitcoin down 42%, but Ethereum only down about 4% on the month. So it seems like Bitcoin had the higher spike overall and reached much higher market cap than Ether, but definitely didn't fall back as hard either. So Ethereum might be a bit of a more stable crypto at this point. And it seems like Ether might have the most upside given that it's actually being used as much as it is compared to Bitcoin.
Yeah, we say this over and over again. 90% of the applications or every other token run on Ethereum. So you can tell that it's being used where Bitcoin, most people aren't using it in day-to-day transactions. So I don't understand why it's not even, why the flipping hasn't happened yet. It's really the main reason I got into crypto was because I expected Ethereum to flip it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's bound to happen anytime.
Yeah, at this point, I think it is too. There's, if Bitcoin can get its shit together in terms of SegWit adoption and in terms of the Lightning Network, I could see it maintaining its posture. But at the way the Ether Ether environment is going, it seems like it's inevitable. So I'm definitely going to put more of my cash into Ethereum when it transfers over, and a little bit into Bitcoin, just because I still think that Bitcoin, overall, Bitcoin trading pairs is more than anything else. So I think it's definitely the still the dominant current crypto.
Well, I think you're going to see some interesting changes over the next like year with for Ethereum with competitors like Neo and Icon and EOS and on and on. If any of them begin to take some sort of market share away from Ethereum, you might start to see um, the price fall a little bit. But really, and I guess the same with Bitcoin because there is Nano and a number of other just currency based coins that could take over and start eating at some of that market share, especially
Mm-hmm.
with Nano and the fact that they're not charging any fees for any transfers.
Yeah, definitely. And it kind of makes sense in your head more how like the platform coins are in a different market pretty much. So the currency based cryptos are competing with each other for dominance, and Ethereum and EOS and what else? IOTA, I guess. They're all sort of in their own environment. So you can kind of see how it all works. And people always compare Bitcoin to Ethereum just because they're one and two, but they're not like directly competing, in my opinion, on the same types of application.
Yeah, definitely. It'll be interesting to see kind of how this space grows overall because there are different factors aside from overall market cap that should be important.
Yeah, yeah, and that's definitely true. And I think you just have to dig a little bit deeper when you're doing your research on this stuff because obviously we just look at market cap because it's easy and it's quick to do. But yeah, things like adoption and usage and number of ICOs, which really it seems like that's the only thing that's separating Neo from Ethereum, is Ethereum's got all these ICOs and it's being used much more. But Neo has a lot of potential, and I think once the number of ICOs catches up on Neo, it's going to be a real competitor to Ether.
Yeah, well, Neo's just so much newer than
Yeah, that too.
Ethereum, right? I don't know exactly when Neo came out. It's probably worth looking into.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I agree with you. And actually, I just have the total market cap split here. So Ethereum's actually got 22% of the total market cap, which is not very far from Bitcoin.
No, I think it was pretty close to 70% of the value of um, Bitcoin at one point. It's probably dropped down to like two-thirds as of now, but
Hmm.
it's looking like it's catching up pretty quickly.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I think it's just it's easy to get overwhelmed by the drops and all the prices and everything, but everybody, keep a level head. You knew what you were getting into when you bought all of this stuff. And, if you want to feel better, you can go on to any of the subreddits and look at any ridiculous posts that people make. So I've got one here in the cryptocurrency subreddit of some clown who wants to feel better about himself, talking about how you shouldn't think of this as a crash or a dip, but some sort of time traveling thing where you go back in time and, you know, I think people can be more adult about it and realize that it's an asset that changes in value based on what somebody's willing to pay for it. And if you think you need to baby yourself and make yourself feel better by calling it whatever you want, you can do so. But, you know, maybe you shouldn't be trading with money. Maybe you should be trading with some sort of fantasy money or using some sort of paper account if you need to feel better about yourself losing money.
Unfortunately, Club Penguin closed a couple of years ago, so they probably jumped into this space immediately afterward.
God. Yeah.
But yeah, no, you're seeing it's interesting because I feel like people who are making these kind of ridiculous posts are really trying to like kind of motivate people in order to make the market turn around and say, "Don't worry, guys. Like you can just buy this one, and everything will be fine."
Yeah, but
And in reality, it might not be.
yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, so I'm sort of like second guessing everybody who just keeps saying hold because, you know,
I think it's pronounced hodl
we don't know
personally.
where the price is actually going to end up. Like, everybody's guessing. Anybody who says that, you know, you, like, there's no reason why it couldn't go all the way down to 3 grand. There's a lot of support there. But, you know, you can hold if you don't need the money. But, you know, everybody really take a good look in the mirror and think about whether or not you need this money and whether or not you actually believe in the technology. Because right now, the people who are getting shaken out are the ones who really don't believe in the technology. And if you don't, you know, maybe take this as a good $1,000, $2,000 trading lesson and put your money in something safer.
Yeah, well, I think rule number one when you get into this space, and it's really the first thing I learned is everyone really does preach not to put money in that you can't afford to lose because you're going to lose it. And especially if you kind of come in not knowing what you're doing or what you're investing in, it could have happened just as easily. Like I didn't get into this at the peak, but if by chance I did, a lot of what I did when I first started out was really just throwing money into whatever I felt like.
Yeah.
So if anyone were to do that at the peak, at the like 3 weeks ago, they're having a terrible time, especially if they're speculating on some of those ones that are 10 cents, 5 cents, 1 cent, and underneath, because those are the ones that crash the hardest.
Yeah, definitely. The ones that have the least amount of potential long term, in my opinion, are the ones that crash the hardest because those are the people who are quickest to get rid of it. But
Well,
yeah, it's great to hear everybody in a bull market. Everybody's a genius, right? Everybody knows what's going to pop. Everybody knows when to get out. But it's really this bear market where you separate the wheat from the chaff. And listen, I bought all the way through. I think I put in one Bitcoin order at 19,000. But I'm very diligent in my dollar cost averaging. So I put in the same amount of USD, but just bought at 19,000. And you know, if I hadn't have done that, I obviously would have had a lot more in my Bitcoin right now. But it's hard psychologically to really know when the right time is or not. So you know, it is what it is. But I'm overall, I'm a believer in the technology behind it. So gonna keep riding this train and definitely gonna pick up some stuff soon.
no, you definitely should. And like again, if people bought Ripple at 350, today it fell to 60
God,
cents.
I know, it's
Like
so brutal.
it's now at, you know, 1/6 of the price that it was at its peak. So dollar cost averaging your way in
Hmm.
there, it will save you money in the long run. Even if it does make significant amount of gains, you don't make as much as you would otherwise, but you're also not losing as much if you buy at the peak or 6 months ago or a year ago. You're doing okay.
Yeah, and I think it's good advice for everybody. Don't go all in on one trade at one time. If even if you want to scale in a position, maybe just put in a third of your money that you want to buy in. Put a third of it in today, and then wait a month. And you know you might miss out on giant gains, but you're not going to get burned like everybody is today when they bought in at the top. Yeah, buying at 350 on Ripple. I mean, it's brutal. There's no excuse for doing something like that.
Well, no, there is an excuse. Like if you don't. even if you know the product, if you still think that there's room for growth for some particular reason, and I assume this is what a number of people have done, is getting in because well, you see Bitcoin at 8,800 or 15,000 at the time, Ethereum at 1,000, and Ripple at $3. You realize that you can buy 300 Ripple for the price of one Ethereum. So you're going to do that if that's your first move into crypto.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why Ripple in particular fell so hard, because it did fall
Yeah.
like a solid 70%
Yeah.
compared to
Pretty
even
much.
Bitcoin, which fell 40%.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and even every other crypto, it did significantly worse just because of people trying to do the get rich quick, and those are the people that were new, and those are the people that left immediately. They realized they made a mistake.
Yeah, and actually Ripple's one of those coins. It was in the media a lot, and it had a lot of hype surrounding it, and with good reason, given the number of partnerships that it has. But it's definitely, and it was also a really cheap price. And I think there's some merit to the argument that when the price is really cheap, it seems like it's a better deal, even though it has nothing to do with the actual value of the project. And yeah, so that one's been hit the hardest, even though it still has a bunch of good partnerships that I think long term are going to make it adopted quicker than the other projects.
Yeah, for sure. And like that's definitely going to happen, but it's tough because again, people are saying that they're not using the actual token as much. So
Hmm.
once they find a use case for the token that everyone has put their money into, I think you'll start to see it bounce back to where it once was.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. And it's definitely just going to take some time. So everybody be patient, be very patient. So patience, I think, has paid off for some XRB holders and or Nano holders. Now that we got to call it like it is, but so Nano is actually, oh, it's not doing as well as when we started this video. It's up 3% in the last 24 hours, which is, I guess, refreshing compared to the red that we see everywhere. So Nano just got listed on Binance, which I think it was either in my video or in one of your videos, Rob, that we said that this would be a good or a trigger point or a catalyst that would actually lead to some buying. And we've seen that even though the whole market's been selling off, Nano's been particularly resistant. So it's good to see that. It's definitely going to bring in some buyers and bring a lot more interest to the coin. And it's definitely got a serious advantage over Bitcoin in the transaction time and in the fees that are accrued.
Yeah, it's interesting. One of the downfalls to Binance is in order to withdraw your Nano, it actually costs you one Nano,
Oh,
which is kind of frustrating
really?
considering KuCoin it's 0.05
Hmm.
Nano to withdraw. So like that's one of the downfalls, and I think that's part of the reason why you're not seeing it pump as hard,
Hmm.
because anyone who looks into that before either buying on Binance or sending their KuCoin coins over to Binance,
Mm-hmm.
um, they're just realizing that like what's the point if it's going to cost me $20 just to take out my coins?
Yeah. Oh man, I'm trying to look for it now. Oh yeah, that's so annoying. Man, yeah, I think the whole fee structure and withdrawals is so messed up in this game, and it's one thing that I think the exchanges really take advantage of because it's not equal at all. The amount that you pay based on the coin varies quite a bit.
Yeah, it's frustrating because they show it as a percent of whatever that token is,
Right.
and if you need to get it out, then you're not really going to pay too much attention
Mm-hmm.
to what that's going to be. But I guess it's good that they've got it listed and that more people have access to it. Nothing was really preventing people from opening a KuCoin account other than if they kind of think it's kind of a sketchy
Mm-hmm.
sketchy platform. But
Yeah.
uh, yeah, so I don't know. You're seeing this. It's a kind of a constant issue with finance, the excessively high fees. So it's do it at your own risk if you plan on doing a lot of deposits and withdrawals with it.
Yeah, it's frustrating, and I think it's an argument to be made for buying Binance coins so you can save money on those transaction fees. And if you don't want to keep a coin, keep your money in a certain coin, you can change it to whatever Bitcoin and withdraw that to a hardware wallet or something. But
Does
it's
that sorry, does that count the Binance coin? Does that count for withdrawals as well?
I have no idea. That would
Okay, yeah, I think it does.
well,
But
I'm on the page. I don't know. I think it's just for trading, to be honest. But
okay,
um,
that's something we should look into
yeah,
because
that,
theoretically, if that's the case, it would cost almost two Binance coins to withdraw one RaiBlock or one Nano,
right, and that's
which is crazy.
yeah, that's ridiculous. Um, yeah, frustrating. But anyway, I think RaiBlocks is or Nano. I hate this. I want us to completely get rid of the name RaiBlocks out of my head, but it's very hard.
Well, it's just I think there's going to be a transition period where we have to say it just in case people forget. I don't think anybody will, but
Yeah, yeah,
you never know. But no, I think RaiBlocks or I think Nano is a great improvement over Bitcoin just with how fast when I when I got rid of my BitGrail account and sent it to KuCoin, it happened in a couple of seconds and it cost me absolutely nothing. So I think that's fantastic where um, Bitcoin it could take, half an hour, a couple hours. It really you really have no idea.
yeah. It's pretty annoying. Um, but it definitely, yeah, it makes me optimistic about Nano, and I think it's definitely a buy at this price.
Yeah. So what are you looking at when once your money transfers over?
Uh,
What kind of coins are you getting into?
Primarily Ether. I'm gonna buy a lot of Ether, and I think I might buy more Neo, just given that uh, the amount of potential or the amount of upside I see on Neo is higher than Ethereum, but I still think Ethereum is undervalued at this price, so I'm gonna put in most of my money there.
Nice. Very responsible decisions that you're making, Matthew.
Thanks. I thought so. What about you?
Mine went, I did buy some Neo. I bought, you know what? The fear of FairX getting listed and me not owning one Stellar Lumens
Mm,
really drives a lot of my crypto brain. So I had to buy some Stellar. I think I picked it up around 35 cents or so. So I really look forward to that. And also some VeChain, which has dipped significantly since I bought it. But holding for the short to medium term, which means 1 to 7 days in my world. We'll see how it goes.
yeah, yeah, that's fair. So hopefully the dip stays where it is, so I can buy in, and then we go to the moon. And I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed for that.
Yeah, and this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. The fact that you have to wait a full week or 5 days or whatever it is for one transaction to go through. When Canadians can get their money faster than Americans, it really blows my mind considering we have such a lack of options.
Yeah, you guys get screwed up there, but you know, I think most of our viewing audience is not Canadian, so I don't think they
No,
care.
but at least I can buy the goddamn dip.
Yeah, that's true.
Meanwhile, you're stuck. If everything turns around, then you're just looking like a chump, aren't you?
Yeah, no, it's absolutely right. So, with the chump idea, I think we're gonna wrap it up there. Please like, subscribe, comment, let us know what you think about our predictions on the crypto market or what you think Nano is gonna do in the future. Definitely use my Robinhood referral or mine or Rob's Binance referral if you don't have an account. And yeah,
Share on Reddit, Facebook, Twitter, anything else.
yeah.
Tell your friend.
Tell your friend, please, and hit subscribe. It would definitely help us out. And with that, we will be back here probably tomorrow, and we'll see you next time.
Take care.